Welcome to Wanted Down Under Revisited. Today, we're catching up with the Mustafa family, who we first met in 2007, when we gave them the chance to sample the lifestyle in Western Australia.
Claire and Octay Mustafa wanted to move their family down under, where they thought the sun always shone and the living was easy. While their boys, 12-year-old Reese and 8-year-old Kai, were all for the move, teenager Chanel was most definitely not.
Australia is not my type of place to be. If my mum and dad decided to come, then I don't know what I'd do.
And for Octay, worries about his elderly parents were a major issue.
I need someone looking after him. That's the hardest part.
Especially his dad. If we did go, you know, that could be the last time we actually saw him.
2 years on, we find out if they made the right choice. Did the Mustafa family stay in the UK or make the biggest decision of their lives and go where they were wanted down under? British families are put to the ultimate test by giving them the chance to try out life down under. They have just 1 week to find out about homes, work and lifestyle before voting on their future. But what happened next? We've caught up with some of our original families to find out where they are now.
In 2007, the Mustafa family from Kent were facing a life-changing decision: whether to stay in the UK or to move down under. We gave them the opportunity of a lifetime to spend a week researching what life would be like for them in Australia. But was it all they'd hoped for?
Claire was in the Metropolitan Police and husband Octay was a cab driver in London. Both had thought long and hard about moving to Australia. Their life in the UK was tough.
We both feel like it's a bit of a rat race here, and we're constantly working, constantly paying the big bills. And it was our choice to have 3 children, but you know, if you go out for the day, it's like £150 just to go out for the day.
The boys agreed.
The weather's bad, crime's bad, but we've got a family here, so yeah, reason to stay here.
But there was dissent in the ranks in the form of teenager Chanel, who was adamant she wouldn't go.
I miss my friends because they're always there for me and everything, but I talk to them more than I would talk to my family even.
Her friends mean everything, typical teenager. Where we live is just her whole life.
The prospective move was clearly a bone of contention.
I've got into arguments about it, but my mum said if I say I'm not going and I stand my ground and I won't go, that she said that she won't go because she's not leaving any of her kids behind.
But there were other worries too.
Well, my parents are quite old now, so I need someone looking after them. That's the hardest part.
We'll be getting paid a lot less, so would we be able to fly back and come and visit people, you know, often? Probably not.
So it's that decision, that split decision, what we're going to do.
There was a choice of 3 different lifestyle options for the Mustafa family to try in Western Australia. In the northern outback town of Broome, in the city of Fremantle, and in the coastal suburb of Rockingham near Perth. Each option included a job for Claire to try with the Western Australian Police.
All the police jobs offered the same salary of £22,000. The country option was based in the Great Australian Outback. The town of Broome is over 1,000 miles north of Perth, where 40 officers police an area the size of Wales.
Be under absolutely no illusions, it's a very tough part of the world to be a police officer in. OK, Claire, one of the first things you'll notice different from UK to WA policing is the fact that we're armed at all times as standard.
Broome's population swells each year with a huge influx of tourists, all keen to check out one of the world's top 10 beaches.
We don't have too many problems with sharks because the crocs ate them all. So therefore we have to worry about crocodiles.
Life in Broome means dealing with bushfires and cyclones, and summer temperatures can get up to 45 degrees. The average house price in Broome in 2007 was around £328,000.
Question for you, Claire, is are you tough enough?
Fremantle, 12 miles south of Perth, buzzes with historic buildings, markets and the famous Cappuccino Strip. You get the best of both worlds here with city and coastal living. With this option, Claire would have been test driving Fremantle City Police.
Hi Claire, I'm Constable Nikki Houston. As well as carrying a gun, we also now carry a taser or stun gun. This can deliver 50,000 volts of electricity. But during our busy months, we have up to 50,000 visitors over a weekend, all out on the town having a good time. So as you can imagine, it can get ugly.
As long as you keep it down and get on the next bus.
Back in 2007, the average house price in the family-friendly area of Hamilton Hill was £206,000. The coastal job offer was based in the town of Rockingham, just a short commute from Perth. Steve Lightfoot was operations manager for the Western Australia Water Police.
Come along and we'll show you some of what we do. OK, Claire, Falcon here is one of our larger vessels. Generally, Falcon gets sent out to escort warships in when they're visiting the port of Fremantle. Search and rescue exercises and operations. Today, the guys are actually training, and you'd be part of this group to actually board vessels, maybe ferries, maybe ships, to resolve a situation that might occur.
Rockingham was growing in size in 2007. A typical 4-bed, 2-bath family house with garden cost about £167,000.
Well, Claire, we need somebody with passion, adrenaline and motivation. And we've got a wetsuit that'll fit you.
We chose a job with the police in Fremantle for Claire to try, while Octay and the children sampled the lifestyle the area has to offer.
The family were about to touch down in Perth. They had just a few days to think about what could have been the biggest decision they'd ever make.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to getting a good feel and seeing what it's like.
Can't wait to go to the beach.
As long as I can go to bed, I don't care.
They were staying in a 4-bedroom house in Tapping, a suburb about half an hour north of central Perth.
I'm looking forward to Chanel seeing the place a bit more and perhaps having some better ideas about Australia.
I'm still not convinced.
For families considering making a life-changing move to Australia, it's vital to find the right place to call home. Properties in Oz are frequently single-storeyed buildings, offering more open-planned living, and with a better climate, outside space is often just as important. So, what could your money buy you? The average property in Sydney costs around £335,000, and it's only a little cheaper in Perth at £290,000. Finding the right place to call home might have given the Mustafa family a chance of convincing Chanel, but they'd have to persuade her to leave the UK first. When we first met the Mustafas, they lived in a 4-bedroom house in Kent. They had outgrown the space. If they'd sold up, they would have had about £180,000 to spend on a place down under. They hoped to get their dream home without a mortgage, but with prices high, getting a 4-bedroom for £180,000 would be nearly impossible, in Perth at least. We arranged 3 property viewings, but the Mustafas could afford none of them without a mortgage, so they were in for a shock. Property 1 round the corner from where they were staying in Tapping was a large 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom new build, on the market for £250,000 in 2007, about as cheap as we could find for the type of home they wanted, but still more than their £180,000 budget, so they'd need a mortgage.
Yeah. That's very nice.
The boys saw something they liked.
And it's got a popcorn maker here. Oh yeah.
I'll never get them away from the TV.
The large living area was pretty impressive.
It's a fair size.
Yeah, it's nice.
Plenty of space for a large family.
2, 3. Well, it's like 4 really.
There's 5.
There's 5 bedrooms.
5 bedrooms, yeah.
We get papers and sign now. I really love it. It's lovely.
And then for the outdoors.
We'd like a bigger pool, really, for the kids. Much bigger pool.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Claire was the voice of reason.
I disagree because a bigger pool is not really going to make any difference. They're not going to be able to swim in it. And the pools are just to cool off when you're out here having a barbie.
Yeah.
If it's a bigger pool, then we'd be able to swim in
they
it.
will have more fun,
Yeah,
I'd
but
say.
you're not going to get a bigger pool for our price range.
Chanel remained unimpressed.
It's alright. But I prefer a house to a bungalow.
But it was the £250,000 asking price that was the issue.
It's a bit more money than what we wanted. I'm a bit more concerned now about having a mortgage than I was before I came.
It didn't bode well, and property too was even more expensive. Renovated to a pretty fancy standard, it had 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and lots of impressive styling. But all that came at a price. It would have set them back $739,000, which in 2007 was about £320,000. First impressions were positive, and even Chanel was moved to comment.
Better than the other house.
Yeah, it's nice.
I love the wood.
Beautiful ceiling, look. The way it goes up airy.
Claire liked the kitchen.
I don't think we'd have any trouble settling in here.
No, it is nice.
We'd just be smiling at our house if we lived here.
They were unanimous in one respect.
Wow.
See
Every house got one of these or something.
Are they bored?
I thought Australians were really sporty and were out doing lots of sport. It seems like they're watching the TV.
Yeah.
And the verdict was...
I want to move from there. I do.
Yeah. No, the kids, they love it as well.
She can live at Nan's.
The boys.
I mean, if you're paying that kind of money, then I think you've got to be happy with the size as opposed to just the decor and the spec what they've got.
Chanel seemed very quiet. The third property was in the inland suburb of Wanneroo. It had 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and a decent-sized garden. The asking price in 2007 was nearly £260,000. This time, Chanel seemed to be getting into the swing of things.
You can make it into a bedroom. Look how big it is.
Yeah, very nice, yeah.
The living space went down well.
Oh, I like this. It's a bit garish, the colour. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice?
Octay was already making himself comfortable.
I'm here already. No more friends, no one else. Peace and quiet. Oh, Mum would go to work, Dad would sit at home and clean the house. Oh, what a wonderful life I've got.
Now for the bedrooms.
This is bigger
Yeah,
than the other ones.
yeah, this is more like it.
It's much
Yeah.
bigger.
I like the size, yeah, I like
Sizes are
I
much
prefer
better than we've
these
seen.
to the other houses
This
we've
is
seen.
more like it, yeah.
No, it's more bigger.
And that time, the garden was just the ticket.
Yeah, it's a nice area.
It's a big garden.
Nice playing area. This is much more like it. I like this.
So it just
And the
shows
pool,
what
the
you
pool's a
get for
nice
your
size.
money when
Yeah.
you're coming out a bit further.
Yeah. It's the best house we've seen today.
For the money. For the money.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, she agrees on this.
Sort of made me realise how much more I can get for my money here. I mean, it's annoying having to have a small mortgage. We didn't want one. But I still think to come here and live here with a small mortgage on a low wage, but in a beautiful country like this, it's perfect, really.
Sunshine, swimming pool there. How much more you can ask for, really.
They'd come to terms with having a mortgage, but what did Chanel think?
This house is the best out of all of them I've seen today.
But
I haven't changed my view of moving to Australia at all. I'm still not too keen on it. Aspire to the house.
But look where we could live.
We've still got time.
Property prices in boomtown Perth proved far more expensive than the Mustafas ever imagined. Their dream of going mortgage-free was thoroughly dashed, but they were trying to stay positive. Time to vote.
On the basis of what we've viewed today, our final vote on the houses is...
Australia!
So, after trying out life in Perth 2 years ago, where are the Mustafas now? Australia! They all moved over to Perth a year ago, even reluctant Chanel. And where have they ended up living? In Tapping, where they stayed for their trial week. They liked it so much they decided to buy. Home is now a 4-bedroom property in the centre of this family-friendly suburb, with parks and open spaces on their doorstep and only a 10-minute drive to the beach. With Reese at school, the rest of the family show us around.
Hello, come in.
The Mustafas bought this property for around £250,000, and then they spent some more to install that Aussie prerequisite, a pool out back. To begin with, there's a recent addition to the family to introduce.
This is our dog, Tara. Say hello.
And first on the tour is the home cinema.
Right, this is the theatre room. Octay's pride and joy.
Yeah, this is my room when I get a chance to use it. And as you can see, with a projector, screens onto the wall there. This is what I always wanted when we came here. When Claire's working, or it's me and the boys, or Chanel when we watch a movie in here.
But now for Claire's pride and joy.
This is the kitchen area, something that I really liked the size of, because Aussie kitchens are normally quite small, and this one's quite big, so I liked it.
Yeah, we do like the open plan, and we thought we're not going to get used to it, but in time we did. Because it's good to entertain. The only downside on it, we say, is the noise sometimes.
Yeah.
It does travel around the house, where it's open plan.
Where you're in another room and you can hear someone else with a TV.
Yeah. Or if Claire's shouting at the kids, or I'm shouting at the kids, or if the dog's barking, it will echo around the house a bit.
Open plan living isn't the only factor that's taking time to adjust to.
We haven't actually got established in a home because we still haven't settled. It's not home, you know, you get that feeling it's not home, so that's why we haven't really done much to it, to make it more homely, like in the UK, to make it feel like home, but it's because we're probably still homesick. Until you find the right house or a two-sitting, people say it takes 2 years to settle in here, or even longer.
The master bedroom is at the front of the house and has its own ensuite, and the kids' rooms are at the back.
This is my room.
This is Chanel's.
As you can see, it's a good sized room.
With a good sized bed. So in the summer, I open my windows and I put my speakers there, so I'm in the pool with all the music. It's quite good.
So what bedroom do you prefer, this one or the one in the UK?
I prefer this bedroom better because it's bigger, but then again I don't like living in Australia.
But you like the walk-in wardrobe?
It's alright.
Oh dear, it seems Chanel hasn't been won over even by a poolside bedroom.
This is Reese's room, but he's not in yet. I mean, it's still a bit bland, all the decoration, it's just neutral, but we wasn't sure what we were doing, if we wanted to stay here forever, and I suppose if you decide we are, then obviously we put more of a mark on it.
Yeah.
But at the moment it's just all neutral, which is still nice.
Yeah, we actually haven't done nothing to it. Like I said, it's not feeling homely, so if it does, then, you know, we can actually fit out the bedroom with the boys with things and what they really want.
The one area that Claire and Octay have spent some time on personalising is the back garden.
This is our entertainment area.
We had this paved because when we bought the house this was all grass, and then we wanted to put a pool in, so we put the pool in and then decided we don't really like lawn mowing and gardening, so because
we had a large garden in the UK. quite a big garden, so we decided we don't want no more garden anymore, so we want low maintenance, you would say. So we bought some pots and had it paved and put a pool in as well.
And have they made the most of this expensive investment?
So once you come over here, everyone puts a pool in. Now we wish we never put a pool in now. All it does is just virtually sits there. The kids went there a few times and that was it.
I've been in it probably 3 times this summer, and that was because I was coaxed in by the children.
They say it is a pommy thing. Everyone wants to put a pool in. So I wish I never put a pool in, really. So when you do come over here, don't have a pool.
Thanks for that advice, Octay. It does seem the past year has provided a few life lessons and some painful home truths.
Homesick is the biggest thing here. So if you intend to come here, be ready for homesick. That, I mean, missing friends and family and the way of life there. We didn't think it was going to be that bad, really, did we?
No, I knew it was going to be difficult, but...
Until you come over here, then you actually realise.
With life so unsettled, what are their plans for the future?
What we're going to do now is we're going to hopefully sell the house and maybe go back or stay or buy land and build.
What was that, Octay?
Yeah, we don't really know what we want to do, so we thought if we sell the house, it'll put us in the best...
in that situation, and we've got the option, haven't we?
Yeah.
Selling the house? It appears the Mustafas can't make up their minds. They don't know if they're coming or going. It seems their future in Perth is undecided. Working in Australia might give you the time and lifestyle you've dreamt of. Remember though, it's a culture of work hard, play hard, so don't come expecting the easy life. Once you've got a visa and made the move, you'll have to get used to some new work practices and methods. For Claire and Mustafa, whilst the legal system is based on British common law, the system of policing is different, and carrying firearms would take some getting used to. You'll be earning Aussie dollars, so could expect a wage drop. But if you can get the all-important work-life balance right, you might find you've made the best move of your life. Back in 2007, the plan was for Octay to be a stay-at-home dad. Claire was to become the sole breadwinner. So there was a lot riding on whether she could make the grade with the Western Australian Police. Claire spent the day at Fremantle Police Station where she met Sergeant Brad Carafil.
Hi, Claire, how you going?
All right, how are you?
Good, good.
And Brad wasted no time in telling Claire how things worked in Fremantle.
The sole responsibility for the centre of Fremantle. There's some huge issues in there which we need to control. Unruly behaviour fuelled by alcohol, drugs obviously is a big issue for us. And with that comes assaults, associated assaults with the nightclubs and things like that. So I guess it's not dissimilar to what you're used to over there, over home.
But there's one thing about the Oz Police that's very different to home.
In the UK, we don't carry firearms unless we're specialist firearms officers.
Yep.
And I understand that in Australia you do. How does that work?
The firearm is only used if you fear for your life or someone else's life is in immediate danger. In my time, in 20 years in the police, I've drawn my firearm once and it's never been fired.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if you're wearing it, you've got to be prepared too. If you're going to be confronted and the situation arises, well, you're going to have to use it.
All officers undergo rigorous firearms training. Armed and ready, some of Western Australia's finest took Claire out on the beat. Meanwhile, Octay and the boys were researching the cost of living and exploring his potential house husband role. They visited a small supermarket which sells the produce of independent farmers and producers.
Look, lamb's brain. Yeah, look, Kai. Lamb's brain. Lamb's brain.
The cost of living came as a bit of a shock for Octay.
81.80.
I thought it was going to be cheaper. It's surprising, really. For the 5 of us, so that's only just a little shop, that's not the rest of it.
Back on the beat, Claire was being shown Fremantle's famous cappuccino strip.
Claire comes across as very sprightly, and I think when she's explained to me her background in the police over in England, I think she will be a welcome addition to our police here.
I'm really excited because I feel that it would help me settle into the country without sort of leading a career that I enjoy.
And I've had no hesitations in putting on the team here, and I hope Claire is fortunate enough to get a Guernsey here in Perth.
So clearly the local coppers thought well of Claire. Which way did she vote?
I've decided that the better job offer is Australia.
So, did the top brass like the cut of Claire's jib and offer her a job? Yes, of course they did. Wanneroo Station, just down the road from their home in Tapping, snapped Claire up. Having done part-time hours in the UK, Claire has now spent 7 months as a full-time officer, after 3 months of rigorous training at the Western Australian Police Academy.
I'm a reserve officer at the moment, so my role entails looking after all of the equipment and checking that it's all here. So the first thing I do in the morning when I get to work is make a cup of tea. And then once I've got my tea, I come in here and I start checking off all the equipment. What I'm going to do now is make sure all of the armoury is either here or booked out as it should be correctly on this sheet. So I just mark off all of these firearms on my sheet, and any that have been booked out, I make sure it's been booked out and that it's all correct. It's really strange sort of having your firearm and a taser, because I didn't carry that in the UK, so I've had to adjust to that. And you know, it's a good piece of equipment, but initially I still used to want to grab my baton. I've still got the baton, but it's behind me, and they prefer you to use the taser as a false option because it's less lethal, you know, should you need to use it. But I haven't had to use it since I've been here, and I don't think I will, because I use my mouth to calm people down. And then, of course, I've got the gun, which obviously I didn't have in the UK, and it's taken me a bit of getting used to. I was like a nervous wreck when I first started handling it, but I'm more used to it now. First time I had to handle a gun, I was really nervous, and I tried to sort of overcome the nerves and be really confident. And I was actually okay at shooting and hitting targets and stuff like that, but when they started timing, I was quite nervous, and I passed, and they wouldn't pass me if I wasn't capable of firing the firearm, but I'd rather not.
So, how does it all compare to being a London bobby?
It was difficult settling, and I didn't think I liked my job in the UK. And then when I got here and started working here, I thought I loved my job in the UK. And it just makes you realise all of the good things that you've left. And but after a while, when I settled and got more familiar with the surroundings and the work and the procedures, I got more comfortable as time went on, and I really enjoy it now.
Back at home, Octay is conducting an early morning training session. Before working as a cab driver in London, Octay was a personal trainer, and this is something that he's gone back to since moving to Oz.
I couldn't find no work, so I've turned to personal training. From there, I've developed like working part-time, teaching other police officers, putting the word around and going to their parties, meeting, trying to make friends as well, and just bring another income in.
But not having a regular job and being a house husband hasn't turned out as he thought.
I've got time on my hands, you would say. It's a time to feel homesick as well. You know, not wanting to do every day, where I was busy there, go, 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 like we are every day, aren't we? So, doing that.
Octay's found it really difficult to not be the provider. At the moment, that's still the case. He's still at home. I'm still working full-time. he thinks more negative about it here than I do, because I'm busy and he's at home with a lot of time to dwell. I still think Octay needs a purpose, and I think he would be better if he started work. He's being a bit fussy, I think, as far as work's concerned. Chanel, she's never wanted to come. She was adamant she didn't want to come. We persuaded her to give it a go, and she's already been back for a month since we've been out here.
She started making friends, and that was a good thing, and going out as well. And it started looking good, but still not. She still wants to go back. We really wanted to go back to education, but she still wants to go back to the UK, and we don't want her to go back.
The first few months were really hard. I got a job and I started making a few friends, but I really wasn't happy initially. So I went home, my mum and dad booked me a flight home, and I went back for a month. And then I came back, and then I thought, right, I really don't want to be here. So I got another job and I started saving up my money, and once I got the money, I booked a one-way ticket home. So I'm actually planning on going back, and I'll see where I go from there. Who knows, I might want to come back, but at the moment I'm not really enjoying it.
For us, we're going to be disappointed because she's not with us, obviously. We're her family, and hopefully we've got a bright future here, but we don't know. Who knows, but we could be going back as well.
Oh dear. With Chanel heading home, the Mustafa's vision of a new life together in Oz isn't working out as planned. Is it just Claire that's keeping the Aussie dream alive?
At 109, can you show us that scene, please?
Whether you see yourself as a beach bum, an outback adventurer or a metropolitan culture vulture, Australia could offer you the life of your dreams. For sports buffs, there's a whole range of activities and, of course, extreme sports. Many people are under the illusion that there's little culture in Oz. However, with museums, galleries, theatres and shopping aplenty in every major city, Australia just might be the next cultural powerhouse. Octay, Claire, the boys and especially Chanel had to take all this into consideration before deciding if their future was in the UK or Australia. Back in 2007, the Mustafas wasted no time on their trial week and split up to get a proper feel for the Perth lifestyle. While Claire and Chanel hit the shops, the boys, who all enjoy sporting activities, checked out the facilities at a local skate park.
Whoa!
What did they think of it?
Yeah, we're having a good time. Driving's good, people are nice, the weather's starting to turn nice.
But there were always thoughts of family back home.
Leaving, obviously, your family, especially my parents, it's going to be hard. Obviously, they're at that age and they're retired. My father's not feeling too good at the moment. He's pretty ill. My mother, she's actually looking after my father.
Our nan's, yeah, and she just gives us food all the time. Yeah, she loves us, like we're the whole world to her and everything. And we go there every week, we have a barbecue or something and stuff like that. And our other nan, she's really nice, we see her about 3 times a week. Our nans will miss us, but they want us to come over for a better life.
Meanwhile, the other two were in trendy Leaderville. As a discerning shopper, surely there was something Chanel would like.
Nothing really to my taste.
Oh, it's lovely.
Some of it's all right, but if we go in Primark and get much better things at much better prices.
Chanel, that's lovely. Look at that.
Sometimes I wonder, Mum.
It was time for a little light refreshment and reflection on the day so far.
Can I have a strawberry in one of these pocket things, please?
A few of the clothes shops we've been in have been very sort of designer,
expensive and
very
not my sort of
expensive.
style.
Because the wages are lower, you expect a little bit of compensation with the price of the cost of living, but at the moment I can't see how it's going to work. You know, the lifestyle here seems, you know, 100% better, but at what cost?
I'd find it pretty boring if I had to spend my weekends here.
Chanel won't come out with us at the weekends. It's too embarrassing.
No, I have my own social life.
And she wouldn't be seen dead with us.
After a long day for everyone, the Mustafas met up at a cafe to compare notes, and inside there was fuel for Chanel's fire.
Chanel's very reluctant. If I can persuade her to give it a year, or even say 6 months, I think that once she gets out here then she'll change her mind.
So far, I think Australia is not my type of place to be. If my mum and dad decided to come, then I don't know what I'd do. It hasn't really hit me yet that my mum and dad really want to move here.
The weather was certainly on their side and the lads seemed to enjoy themselves, but there was no pleasing Chanel. Their vote was going to be interesting.
Based on our lifestyle experience today here in Perth in Australia, we're going to choose Australia!
England! Why?
England?
Who says?
I say.
I say.
Back in 2007, the Mustafas weren't all certain that the Aussie lifestyle was for them. But after a year in Perth, how is the reality of life down under shaping up? Claire, for one, is determined to make the most of having the coast on their doorstep, even if the weather's not always sunny.
Lifestyle-wise, I don't miss anything in the UK. Octane and I love to come down to the beach and go for walks and take in the scenery. Even on a day like this, when it's like the end of winter, we still love to come down here and we love to like wrap up and walk along. But in the summer, you can literally guarantee that it's going to be sunny every day.
Can I have 1 cappuccino, please? 1 latte.
So how does she feel the boys have fitted in?
Kai seems really happy. He says he doesn't want to go home. He's enjoying school. I have my reservations a bit about school because it doesn't seem to get a lot of homework and they're very laid back. So he's enjoying that aspect of it, but there's not much pressure for the kids to, you know, do work. Reese, it depends what day you talk to him. It depends what kind of a day he's had, you know.
But Claire's immediate worries lie with their daughter.
Chanel was adamant that she wasn't going to come, and so we persuaded her to come, you know, just give it a go. And she did, which we really was pleased about. And I really did genuinely think that she would settle, she would like it in the end and, you know, find some friends. And she has found some friends, but she hasn't settled at all. I don't know what I'm going to feel like when she goes home. And I've said to her, you know, you can come back whenever you want, this is your home. And she said, it's not. The UK is my home. And I said, well, wherever your family is where your home is. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. If she goes home and I can't deal with it, then, you know, we'll just have to cross that bridge when it comes.
While Claire and Octay contemplate facing a life in Perth without Chanel, the skies start to clear. With Tara keen to be let off the leash to enjoy one of Perth's many open spaces, the local park beckons. Reese and Kai seem to be making the most of their new outdoor Aussie life. But do they want to stay put?
In one position, I think we should stay in Australia because of better life and stuff, that we can go out all the time. And then the other point of view is you don't have your family here, you don't have your friends here. I think we should stay here, and if Reese gives it a couple more years or so, that when he's older he can go back if he doesn't like it. Maybe that is the thing that could happen, and I might get used to that, and it might just all turn around.
Sometimes I think life's too short. You know, just go home, go back to the UK, spend the rest of your life with your family, enjoy your family, you know. And then other times I sit there and think, oh, think about the boys and what a lifestyle they've got here and how much better it is. It's just a constant battle.
And as with any struggle, you need friends to pull you through. And the Mustafas have worked hard in the past year to fit in, make friends and build a new social network.
I've actually started making more homemade stuff since I've been here because you miss all your family's cooking. And I'm just making Cornish pasties. Making friends and socialising has been one of the important factors about coming over. You've got to put yourself out and you've got to go to the barbecues and you've got to have the barbecues just to keep yourself going. And if it wasn't like that, we probably would have gone home a long time ago. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as us and we all need each other, really. And that's what you do.
Yes, to do it right the first time.
So, what do their friends think?
We moved out from the UK about 3 years ago. And we knew Claire and Octay and all the kids, obviously, from back there. And now we make sure that we get together at least once a month.
We do.
It's really good. It's lovely having them here.
Yeah, it's good.
I know they've only been here a year and, you know, it is tough. There's no two ways about it. It is tough. But if they stick it out, they will love it. They will.
I think
the
they've
people here are
got to give it
lovely.
another year at least.
Yeah,
And
you
then
have to give it 2 years.
At least, minimum.
Yeah.
We want them to stay.
We would love
It's as
it,
simple
yeah.
as that.
We don't want them to go home.
Got no one to moan at otherwise. Yeah, it's no fun.
But with the Mustafas still homesick and feeling uncertain over their future plans, will the friends they have here be enough to compensate them for all they miss from back home?
In 2007, we showed the Mustafas a collection of messages to help them consider what moving to the other side of the world would mean to their friends and family.
Hello, Octay, Claire. I wait you to come back again.
Hi kids, Nanny here. I'm really going to miss you if you decide to stay.
Octay, Claire and the kids, hope you've been having a good time.
Claire's very hard-working, lovely mum, brilliant daughter. We're very proud of her in the police force. We're proud of them all.
I think Chanel does actually want to go there, but just for her friends, and she'll miss her family and that around here.
Although I would be sad, I do think that it's a good opportunity, and I think in Australia they would have a better quality of life.
When you have a family, you have to do what's best for your family. And so no, I would never say don't go, but I would be devastated if she went.
But I can't tell him what to do.
He's grow up.
His kid is grow up, you know.
I can't stop him, but we're going to miss it.
Because the kids, once a week, twice
a week, he comes to visit us.
No, I don't. Of course we don't. Would you? That's the long and short of it, really.
I'll be devastated, really, if they go. If they move there permanently, I will be devastated.
He's not young anymore. I don't know how many years ago. They're too hard. Oh, Dad, you know, I can miss you. Hurry up, you come back, and I cook kebab.
Lots of love. I know whatever decision you make will be the right one for you, but we love you so much and we're going to miss every one of you.
I hope you hate it, and I look forward to seeing you soon. But if you don't hate it and you do like it, then good luck to you. That's all I can say, really, Claire. Love you all. That's it. Thanks, animal. I was a cry.
makes you want to go and hug them. They're not here. So when you're here, you just don't think about everyone back at home, but I suppose you have to start thinking about it, really, if it's going to be real. I think as well with Octave's parents is their grandchildren are their life, really. My mum and dad will miss us dearly, but they've got good social lives and we've got a big family. But Octave's mum and dad's lives will be empty, really.
What are we going to do? It makes you think twice now.
I'm not living here.
You're not living here?
Why is that?
The emotional pull of people back home threw everything into sharp focus.
I feel a bit physically sick. It just brings it home to you, who you're leaving at home and what it'd be like not to see those people again. And Octave's parents, well, especially his dad, if we did go, you know, that could be the last time we actually saw him. You know, that, I think the enormity of that, when you see them on tape, it really sort of brings it home.
Sadly, their worst fears came true. 4 months after leaving the UK, Octave's father passed away. And they couldn't afford to fly back as a family, so Octave had to travel home alone.
We went back to the UK and I had to bury my father. At the same time, I wanted to come back because I was missing my family, but it felt like I'd never been away. It was a sad day for me, but now I'm back here again. I still miss my mother. Obviously, she's in a UK on her own there. So I really have to go back sometimes, you would say, to help my mum out and obviously spend the last time, you know, with my mother, you would say, before she passed away. So I really like to be with her as well.
It was really hard losing my granddad, and I suppose I got that one more chance to see him rather than the rest of my family, because I actually went back and I spent time with my family. And then I came back, and then a few weeks later he passed away. And my dad flew back. Now, I actually wanted to be there. I wanted to be there for my nan. I wanted to see him. I wanted to actually say goodbye in a way. But I knew we couldn't. We couldn't afford to actually all go out there. And it's really hard when you lose someone and you can't actually be there.
The Mustafas have paid a high emotional price by deciding to move down under. 2 years on, we're showing them some new messages to see how their loved ones are coping without them.
Hi Claire, hi Ock, hi kids. Missing you really loads. Hope you're having fun.
Hope everything's really, really good. We all miss you so much, don't we, Lil?
We really do, and can't wait to see you again soon.
There was such a big build-up to them going. I had a girly night here for everyone to come round, and all the family and all her aunts and her mum and family friends. And it was just sad every time you said goodbye. And the boys, I remember going out for the meal and Reece getting really upset, and everyone was upset, and that was really hard.
We went to the airport with them, and they went through quite early because it was really emotional and everyone was crying, so it was dreadful. Christmas was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, that was nice.
Because the kids, and we didn't get organised enough to send presents, so it was all money in the post, and it just wasn't the same.
It's sad that you're not seeing your grandkids grow up, in a way, you know what I mean? So I think that bit's a bit.
It's just like you've lost someone. It's like you've lost something. You know, because we had that sort of friendship. We've known each other for over 20 years, over 24 years. just take it for granted, don't you, that they're always there.
Where we used to be able to, if you were having a bad day or something, you could ring up, or if she was, but now that's so difficult. But, yeah, and you can't give them a hug. That is really sad, because sometimes you think, oh, I wish, if she's upset or I'm upset, she'll say, I wish I could give you a hug, and I'd say the same, and you can't, and that's sad.
I think Claire found it hard quite a few times. You know, early on there was the initial wrench from the family and friends, and I think she really missed everybody, and that was really hard. And then I know Octave's dad passed away, which again was really hard for them all, and that really upset her.
Chanel never did like it there.
She didn't want
like
to go.
It. On day one.
She was never going to settle.
And I think she'd give it her best shot. She wants to come back again, and she's coming back again, and we'll be
and this is
absolutely delighted to see her. But it must be terrible for Claire and Octave and her brothers, because it's sort of splitting the family up. Do you see what I mean? They're immediate family, and it must be really heartbreaking for Claire. If, you know, and
they are close family.
We can't do nothing except support them. That's all we can do.
I think Claire wanted a better life for her children, which she's got in so many ways. But is that more important than having nans and granddads, aunts and uncles and family friends around you? I don't think so. So from a personal angle, no, I wouldn't have done it, and I don't think she's done the right thing. But from her angle and knowing how important those other things were to her, yes, she's done the right thing for her and her family.
If they got a better life out there and they're happy, then it's the best thing you can hope for, isn't it, really?
Claire, you're my sister. You're my big sister. And I love you very much. And I'm very, very proud of you all. So maybe see you soon, but if not, I love you all. Mwah.
Looking forward to Chanel coming back, but I know you're going to miss her terribly, but we'll be there for you.
Either way, we will see you all soon.
Love you loads. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Don't think that's going to be that bad, do you?
I thought it wasn't going to be that sad. Why did you get upset? Watching that, I feel like going home. I feel like going home now. It's like the trade-off, lifestyle, beautiful place, weather, and then against...
Then it boils down to the family and friends, doesn't it?
Friends and family, you know, having everyone who loves you around you. I mean, we've got friends here, but
friends, but it's not the same, is it?
It's very superficial. You've got friends there that you've literally grown up with. Sometimes I wish like I'd never thought of emigrating to Australia, and I wish I'd never heard of Perth or Waypole. But if we hadn't have come, then we would have always regretted it. So in that respect, I'm glad we've given it a go, and we're still trying to make it work. I don't regret trying. Do you?
No, we've got nothing to lose. We just have to stay focused, really.
Octave's putting on a brave face, but as the messages from their loved ones sink in, the reality of not seeing his parents on the DVD has really hit home.
It would have been nice to see my mother on there, but I know she wouldn't have anyway, because it would have been heartbreaking for her, you know, because she's on her own. And plus, me seeing my mum, then I would have probably felt the same as Claire would as well. And plus, the boys as well, they would have been devastated, I think.
In 2007, their week in Perth threw up many issues for the Mustafas. they found that it was more expensive to live in Perth than they'd thought. Then there was the question over whether Chanel could be persuaded that a move was in her best interests. They were struggling, but at the end of their trial week, it was time to come to a final decision. To stay in the UK or move down under.
Australia!
In 2007, the family's vote was not unanimous, but they made a go of it, and 2 years on, they've found a new home. And Claire's found full-time employment, but Octay has struggled to find work. Chanel has booked her ticket home. So, having moved their lives to the other side of the world, do the Mustafas feel that they've made the right choice? It's time for their final vote. UK or down under?
We've been here nearly a year now. There's pros and cons about Australia and the UK.
Our vote is today.
Australia! There's no surprise there, is there?
Oh, no, UK.
Why did you vote the UK, Kai?
I prefer the UK.
Oh, I think we need to give this a bit more time.
We have to consider this now.
Come on, let's go home, make a cup of tea.
So, after 12 months in Perth, it seems the Mustafa family still can't agree on what's the right decision. Will they stay put, or is the sun setting on their Australian dream?
It seems only time will tell what the future holds for the Mustafas. We wish them well wherever they end up. Join us again next time when we catch up with another family on Wanted Down Under Revisited.
A beautiful Kentish public house is one of the memorable properties from Homes Under the Hammer next. And it's time for a move and the perfect opportunity to clear out the clutter. Catch In the Attics later at 11:30 on BBC One.
Welcome to Wanted Down Under Revisited. Today, we're catching up with the Mustafa family, who we first met in 2007, when we gave them the chance to sample the lifestyle in Western Australia.
Claire and Octay Mustafa wanted to move their family down under, where they thought the sun always shone and the living was easy. While their boys, 12-year-old Reese and 8-year-old Kai, were all for the move, teenager Chanel was most definitely not.
Australia is not my type of place to be. If my mum and dad decided to come, then I don't know what I'd do.
And for Octay, worries about his elderly parents were a major issue.
I need someone looking after him. That's the hardest part.
Especially his dad. If we did go, you know, that could be the last time we actually saw him.
2 years on, we find out if they made the right choice. Did the Mustafa family stay in the UK or make the biggest decision of their lives and go where they were wanted down under? British families are put to the ultimate test by giving them the chance to try out life down under. They have just 1 week to find out about homes, work and lifestyle before voting on their future. But what happened next? We've caught up with some of our original families to find out where they are now.
In 2007, the Mustafa family from Kent were facing a life-changing decision: whether to stay in the UK or to move down under. We gave them the opportunity of a lifetime to spend a week researching what life would be like for them in Australia. But was it all they'd hoped for?
Claire was in the Metropolitan Police and husband Octay was a cab driver in London. Both had thought long and hard about moving to Australia. Their life in the UK was tough.
We both feel like it's a bit of a rat race here and we're constantly working, constantly paying the big bills. And it was our choice to have 3 children, but you know, if you go out for the day, it's like £150 just to go out for the day.
The boys agreed.
The weather's bad, crime's bad, But we've got a family here, so we have a reason to stay here.
But there was dissent in the ranks in the form of teenager Chanel, who was adamant she wouldn't go.
I miss my friends because they're always there for me and everything, but I talk to them more than I would talk to my family even. Her friends mean everything, typical teenager. Where we live is just her whole life.
The prospective move was clearly a bone of contention.
I've got into arguments about it, but her mum said if I say I'm not going and I stay at my grand's and I won't go, that she said that she won't go because she's not leaving any of her kids behind.
But there were other worries too.
Well, my parents are quite old now, so they need someone looking after them. That's the hardest part.
We'll be getting paid a lot less, so would we be able to fly back and come and visit people, you know, often? Probably not.
So it's that decision, that split decision, what we're going to do.
There was a choice of 3 different lifestyle options for the Mustafa family to try in Western Australia. In the northern outback town of Broome, in the city of Fremantle, and in the coastal suburb of Rockingham near Perth. Each option included a job for Claire to try with the Western Australian Police.
All the police jobs offered the same salary of £22,000. The country option was based in the Great Australian Outback. The town of Broome is over 1,000 miles north of Perth, where 40 officers police an area the size of Wales.
Be under absolutely no illusions, it's a very tough part of the world to be a police officer in. OK, Claire, one of the first things you'll notice different from UK to WA policing is the fact that we're armed at all times as standard.
Broome's population swells each year with a huge influx of tourists, all keen to check out one of the world's top 10 beaches.
We don't have too many problems with sharks because the crocs ate them all, so therefore we have to worry about crocodiles.
Life in Broome means dealing with bushfires and cyclones, and summer temperatures can get up to 45 degrees. The average house price in Broome in 2007 was around £328,000.
Question for you, Claire, is are you tough enough?
Fremantle, 12 miles south of Perth, buzzes with historic buildings, markets and the famous Cappuccino Strip. You get the best of both worlds here with city and coastal living. With this option, Claire would have been test driving Fremantle City Police.
Hi Claire, I'm Constable Nikki Houston. As well as carrying a gun, we also now carry a taser or stun gun.